All right. Good evening. Good evening. It's a beautiful night here in El Paso, Texas. It's raining, and you can definitely feel that the fall is on its way, maybe not fully arrived. And it's so nice to have the rain down here in the desert, and that makes it a really, really nice night. But I'm scrolling through the news, and like I always do, and I gotta say, today is exceptionally interesting. There is a lot going on. And I said, I gotta make a silver video. I'm making a silver video. I'll probably even post this one on Instagram and Facebook. So if you do watch some of this or all of it, if you can hang, if you actually watch this, I appreciate you. But it's not gonna be for everybody. But there's really interesting things happening. And I gotta say, if you like thriller movies, if you like mystery movies, for example, I love The Big Short. It's one of my favorite movies. Glenn Ross, The Broiler Room, The Wolf of Wall Street. There's quite a few movies like that. The financial thrillers are my favorite, and thrillers in general, and mystery. But what we have going on in the world right now is the most epic, the largest, the craziest mystery and thriller happening on a global scale in real life right now. And I've expressed to people what I think this is for quite a while. And I do indeed think we're living through an economic collapse. So congratulations, you're alive to see the collapse of an empire. And what does that mean? Doesn't mean that we all die. Doesn't mean that everything's set aflame and we're back in the Stone Age. It's gonna get really hairy in the cities though. What it does mean is that we are headed for a restructuring, and it's intentional. The powers that be, and I often refer to them just as the Western banking cartel, the elites, they put us on this path quite a while ago. And now we're at the end of the line, pretty much. And things are getting weird. So you see all these things about politics and war and sensationalist news. And there's all this stuff on the surface. But beneath the surface, the big story is, well, it's the debt, and it's about how other sovereign entities such as Brazil, Russia, India, Iran, China, they are beginning to assert themselves against the Western banking homogeny, and we're at war. It's a financial war, and it's a shooting war, but it's not that big of a shooting war. But as a citizen of the United States, you are witnessing the pillaging of American wealth. It's done at your expense, and it's just pretty fucking crazy. And so, I don't know, that was a lot to say, but what I'm really getting at is at the crux, at the intersection of this collapse is gold and silver. And the reason is that silver is money, gold is money. That's the original money. That's the money of the Quran, of the Bible, the original money of America, written into the Constitution. Gold and silver is money. And I believe they took gold, they stopped gold from being money in, I can't remember. I want to call it 1916. And the last of the silver was taken out of the coinage in 1964 by Lyndon Johnson. It was a coinage act. And the reason they took all the silver out of the coinage is they wanted the silver. The silver supply was dwindling. We had all these coins that had real value because there was something valuable in them. They were in circulation, and they said, hey, why don't we just take all that silver back, and we'll just give them this other alloy, this cheap alloy, and we'll say it's worth something, and they'll just have to agree to it, and that'll be that. And that's what happened. But the rest of the world still knows silver's money. The people that study history know that silver's money. And if you're a stacker or a prepper or just a economic enthusiast of any sort, and I'm not talking about the kind that just bets on stocks, trying to short squeeze GameStop or buying Bed Bath. Like, you're into real economics, macroeconomics, historical economics, you know that silver's money. And that's how we arrived here. And so this short little show that I'm gonna do here, we're just gonna walk through a couple articles and I'll show you the amazing things that are happening. It is frightening, it is interesting, and it is real. So let's check this out. First thing I got teed up for you here is I just want to read you this headline. We're going to set the stage and then we're going to talk about it. This is from Silver to Mars, a due diligence master on Reddit. This is Wall Street Silver, and you see some very incredible due diligence about economics on this Reddit. India's silver imports in 2022 could jump to a record. That's 820,000 tons, or 623 million ounces. Just remember the 623 million ounces. So, India's silver imports are 263 million ounces, and that is, I know this by memory, that is triple of last year. And you need some context to understand how big that really is. India knows something. India definitely knows something. That's why they're importing so much silver. But let me give you some context on that. Next thing we need to know, we're setting the stage. London silver inventories continue to plummet as metal exits LBMA vaults. So the LBMA is the London Bullion Market Association. It's the biggest vault in the world, and silver is disappearing from it. Let's read this. There is an unprecedented situation emerging in London, where the relentless hemorrhaging of one of the world's largest stockpiles of silver is now well and truly underway. For the last 9 months, this stockpile of silver held by the NBA vaults in London has been consistently falling each and every month and now has reached an all-time low. These vaults comprise the precious metal storage facilities in and around London, HSBC, JP Morgan, ICBC, Standard Bank, as well as London vaults for 3 security operators, namely Brinks, Melka Amit, and Loomis. Since the system of vaults is administered and coordinated by the London Bullion Market Association, these vaults are collectively known as the LBMA. Right here, they jokingly call it the London Sub-Billion Market Association. Let's jump in right here. During July of 2022, London silver inventories fell by another 4.6 month on month, with the vault seeing an outflow of 46 million ounces of silver. Maybe we'll remember that too. 46 million, that's 1 month, 46 million ounces of silver. This brought the LBMA London silver holdings down to 950 million ounces. So they're bleeding silver, and that was an all-time low. Now, in August 2022, the new vault data has been released, and we can see that August saw no reprieve, because in August, the London silver holdings fell by another 3.6% month on month, and this was an outflow of 3.4 million ounces. This brings the LBMA silver vault inventories down to 916 million ounces. So let's remember those numbers of ounces there. That's going to be important. And check a look at this chart here. What I want you to know, see this sharp decline? That's where we are. This goes all the way back to 2016. And now you might be saying, well, there's still a lot of silver left. And yeah, it looks like it, but there's more to it than that. There's more to be revealed. Okay, onward. This is where we tie some of it together here. Okay, so let's remember this year, India is buying from around the world. They're buying 290 million ounces. I think the other one said 280 million, but close enough, right? Let's remember the COMEX vault holdings are 916 million ounces. Okay, so India has purchased about a third of the size of the vault in 1 year. 1/3 of the size of the LBMA vault has been bought by India off the open market by the end of this year. Okay. Global silver production is 800. Let's make sure. Yeah, you can see that. Global silver production, 820 million ounces. So the global production in 2021 of all the silver, all the mines in the world, was slightly lower than the holdings of the vault currently by 100 million ounces. But that gives you some context, right? Let's get some more context. Okay, look. USA mine production in 2021 was only 32 million ounces. We saw that disappear. Remember it said 32 million ounces? We saw 32 million ounces disappear off of the LBMA vault in 1 month. And that is the entire year's production of a USA mine. India, look at India. They produced 22 million ounces of silver, but they don't want to produce it. They want to buy it. They're buying it. More than 10 times as much. It's cheaper. They know something. They bought 10 times as much as they produce. They could produce more, but why would you produce more when you can just buy it? They must think it's a deal, right? This is important here. We'll just show you Mexico is almost 200 million ounces. They're the biggest producer in the world. China's making a lot, and Russia's making more than us. Silver. Global silver demand in 2021, let's make sure you can see that, was over 1 billion ounces. Okay. What I want you to know is that the demand is going up. This 13% here stands for how much the investment demand is going to increase this year. And I think that's a low estimate. I think it's going to be more than 13. And I'll tell you, industrial demand is also going up. So this is going to be more like 1.2 billion of demand this year. And look, the production is not going to go up. It can go up slightly, but look, we're only making 820 million ounces worldwide. But the people that want to buy it, they need to put. So we're in a deficit. The people that want there's more to be sold than they are producing. That's all you need to know. There's already a deficit. Period. And here's where it gets juicy. Okay, here's where it really gets juicy. This is the kicker here. Let's make this a little bigger. Okay. Here's a post by Western Persimmon. He's a beluga whale on Wall Street Silver Reddit. He writes, the LBMA admitted that it almost ran out in January 2021. Evidence of that is now finally out. And he is citing the LBMA Silver Investment Report 2021 final edition. So he's citing their own material there. And what you're seeing here, I'll just explain this to you. How did they run out if they only had? So the question is how did the LBMA almost run out if they still have 916 million ounces? This is how. Let me get myself off the screen so I can really. You see this big gray area down here? That represents silver that is not for sale. That silver is held by ETFs. So the biggest ETF in the world is called SLV. And when people buy SLV, the ETF, they supposedly own some silver. And this is where it's stored in the LBMA vault. So while there's silver in the vault, it belongs to someone. Again, these black bars. Now this is speculation here. But according to Ronan Manley, And according to this Wall Street Silver author, this is Western Persimmons, they think that it's possible that 9,000 tons of the silver in the LBMA is privately held. All this black bar stuff is privately owned. So it's in the vault, but it's not for sale. And that means that up here in the green is the silver that is for sale. And look at the end there. Look at that. There might be no silver left. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. So I got one more chart to show you, but I hope you can see where we're headed here. Now, the next most important thing that I hope you're asking here is, well, there must be other hoards of silver in the world other than the LBMA. It can't be the only place in the world with a huge hoard of silver, correct? Correct. The second biggest hoard of silver is in America, and it's held by a vault or an entity named the COMEX. And again, this is banks and private individuals holding the silver in the COMEX vaults where it's nice and safe. If you have tons of silver, you can't bury that in your basement and it wouldn't be safe there anyways, right? So you need to keep it in a vault if you're a very rich person with lots of silver. So let's have a look. Let's have a look here at the COMEX vault, and I'll show you something interesting. I have that data nice and handy right here. The COMEX vault's holdings are 320 million ounces. This is a 9/16, just a couple days ago. 320 million ounces. And so that's just a little more. That's just a little more than India is on pace to buy. And that's 10 times what the US mine production is. That is 1/3 of the global year's production, 320 million ounces. But the most important thing of this is they do have the ETFs. They do have the private owners of the silver. So right here underneath the total holdings, you have the registered. And the registered means this is the silver that's actually for sale. This is the silver that does not have a claim on it. And that is only 48 million ounces. And this is what they admit to. Like, I don't even necessarily trust these people, but there's only 448 million ounces left, according to them. And that's under attack. This will be our last slide. Let's pull it all together here. Let's pull it all together. Here's a post by Ditch the Deep State on Wall Street Silver. I'll start this off by saying Ditch the Deep State is very accurate. He's not making these numbers up. These are coming straight from the reports that the vaults issue. So this isn't really up for debate. There's some things that are up for debate, but this is not, okay? Ditch the Deep State writes, the vaults continue their trek towards zero. This is in one day, 1,170,000 ounces out of registered. And so that means 1,170,000 is no longer up for sale. Someone bought it. Someone did something, they made a claim on it in one way or another. So that 48 million that you saw before, that would have went down, right? By that amount. And 520,000 is out of the vault. That means it was extracted from the vault completely. And there's also a run on gold. But let's talk the shiny silver. 586,000 ounces left. The registered vault, 7% in one day. One truckload left Loomis's. So these are two different, this is interesting. These are two different holdings because it's a series of vaults, right? And so you have Brinks and you have Loomis and you have this MTB. Loomis as a custodian lost 20% of its silver in one fucking day. 1/5 in one fucking day. And they think Jamie Dimon has something to do with it. And that, if you don't know who that is, that's JP Morgan. That is the CEO. Okay, 20 minutes. We're almost at the end here. Let me take myself off the screen real quick. This very plainly is this is a graph of the vaults. These are all different custodians, and these are their vaults, and they're all going down. Look at JP Morgan, down. HSBC, MTB, Brinks, down. Loomis, look at Loomis. Oh, that's Loomis. Look at Loomis. Look at, what is this? CNT. Dang. Down. And there you have, that line is your registered. So there was a point where there was 150 million ounces that you could buy, and that is down to 44 million. So there's only 1/3 left, and that was all in the span of a year and a half. So the direction is clear. I hope I did a good job of explaining that to you. And if you listen to that whole thing, you're a stud. If you listen to that whole thing, I'm very impressed. And I appreciate you. So I could talk about this for a whole day. That was 21 minutes. What happens after the vaults run out is a whole other video. There's many opinions, but I'll tell you this. That's going to be a major red flag when the vaults do run out, and it's going to be a ripple effect. And I'll just reiterate that the silver is the Achilles heel of the Western banking system, and the prices are going to have to get higher, and that's what they don't want, because they do not want the dollar challenged. And if people start jumping on the silver bandwagon same way as you've seen with Bitcoin or Ethereum or GameStop or Bed Bath & Beyond, if people really get on this bandwagon, we're going to see some serious shit go down. And silver is a fucking huge fulcrum point in the entire economic system, and gold. So I hope you enjoyed my show, and I'm probably going to keep making more. And I thank you, and you have a good night.